Just fucking do it. Subscribe now. So now it's all signed, sealed, and delivered. They have the shares. And so now you get your ass, normally some of the old guys, myself included, you give them a couple hours before dinner or before cocktails. And you meet at wherever. And you say you meet at 6:30 for drinks, for a dinner, going to be at 8 o'clock. And then a dinner. And then the next morning, you're running like a dog to go to these LOIs. And as you get them to, the LOIs turn into purchase contracts, you're not telephoning, you're emailing back, gentlemen, I'm pleased to say, number one on our agenda, or number two in our LOI was signed, the purchase agreement, blah, 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 it'll close and such and such. And then about a month later, you send out a report that's either written, or now a lot of the kids are using where you put in 4, 5, 6 minutes in like a Zoom call where you're talking. There's no interface. It's just you're reporting back to the board. And the better you keep the board informed, up to date, the less problems you have with them. Board members only leave if they feel they've been abandoned. Unfortunately, your wives will not be so kind about you not spending time with them. And again, I'm not making fun, but for those of you that think, or even borderline, that your wives are fragile, you'll find out, as they say in Texas, right quick. You'll find out right quick that they, I say this to every group. Looking around, why they would miss you, I don't know. I can understand that part. Now, when you're rich, and you're doing shit all the time, I can understand they miss that. Okay. So now, the dinners you're going to pay for. Sometimes you get lucky and have a chairman's wife that feels sorry for you and pays like Sally does. And you're not meeting with the board, you may have breakfast. I'm not into breakfast, but some of the kids, have breakfast with the guys that are still around before they get on their trains, their planes, or wherever they go. And everybody will tell you good luck, and then you're off, and you're beaten, hasty, not retreat, but run towards the gunfire. Board meetings are better when they arrive on Friday and the board meeting's on Saturday, or they arrive on Saturday and the board meeting's on Sunday. And you'll have your lawyers and accountants there. Your success fee, delayed fee, whatever you want to call them, there. And you will also, part of the documentation is that you're approving EY or whoever the fuck as your accountants. Or you're approving, Dentons as your lawyers. Now, some law firms will want a very detailed engagement letter for the delayed fees. People that are used to doing delayed fees will not have such a detailed engagement letter because they know a lot of them aren't going to come to fruition. But some of them do. But they'll be there and they'll pitch why, and they'll have slides, and they'll have probably a tax partner or an audit partner. For sure, the engagement partner. That means the person that you have the relationship with that has agreed your terms. And I say, not jokingly, it's normally the most professional part of the presentation is when the lawyers and the accountants get up and peddle their shit. Because, until that's signed by the board, they don't even have any potential client. They're just there, on a hope and a prayer. And I've rarely seen a bad job done. And if the managing partner, if you don't do it on the weekend, the managing partner pops his head in other words, for the area, for whatever reason, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. And the more high-profile people you have on the board, guys, the more the accountant and the law firm are going to see their way clear because you're going to ask them to do shit before the deal comes. And if it's really important, you're going to take them to the acquisition site, whoever it is. But if they put you in a room like this, you will have never got to what I just went through. It's because, they don't like you. But now you can't say, I don't like this asshole, this Vietnamese asshole, or this black asshole, or this Jew. You can't say that. You never could really say it, but now you can't say anything by even intimation. You can't say that, I didn't get in trouble years ago. One of the accountants were walking by a synagogue. Why he did this, I have no fucking, because he's an idiot. Dallas office, and one of the big four accounting firms, and he says, he was referring to one of the guys on the board. And he says, well, I hated that Jew bastard. Fuck. I can fix almost anything. I fixed that, though. I did fix it. Even though anti-Semite that he was. But you got to watch what you say. And nobody's taping this shit, by the way. You don't allow the directors or anybody to tape it. No tapes. And then once the minutes come back in 2 or 3 weeks and it's approved, you're off and running. YouTube, this is metaphorically speaking, of course, like with a license to steal. And that's true. Now, you've heard some of the guys. You haven't heard the last guy yet. And you've all measured in your own mind, if he can do it, I can do it. Or he's a better speaker than I am, so it'll be harder for me. And that's all true. But you've heard a couple that can barely speak English. And even though I haven't heard everybody talk in here yet, I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt, unlike my Chinese-German partner, that you can speak English or the language you're going to give it in. I highly recommend when you get the shit as you translate it to your own language. I highly recommend that you alphabetize it all. I highly recommend you set up a file. I don't know how to do any of this. If I was going to do this, I'd give it to Kat or EJ. That it's numerically, you know where everything is. So you can but the reason why everything's helter-skelter is because I want you to have to go through all the information a few times so when you're looking for information. Now, I wrote it, almost all of it, so I don't have any of it alphabetized or any of that stuff. But I essentially wrote it. Most of the scripts I wrote, and we've tweaked them over the years. Josh Kim, whoever, we've tweaked them over the years. And you heard, and again, I'm not suggesting or recommending in any way, shape, manner, or form that you defame people like Simon the Nazi. But I'd be lying to you if I didn't tell you the guys that are at more ends of that are at his end of the continuum are more successful. So the more you can pull yourself firm, the better off you're going to be. The better off you're going to be. And when you go out to do the LOI, the final LOIs, you want to bring them to either your lawyer's office or your accountant's office. Since you're operating out of the back seat of your car, we're not bringing them to your office. And since most of you living in a 3-story cold flat, you know why they call it cold flats? Because you used to be able to put your milk out on the windowsill to keep it cold because you didn't have a refrigerator. So you're going to have the meetings at the accounting office or the legal office. Not that they're going to participate, but if you do it at the legal office, your lawyer's office, and if there's a question, you can call them in, and that doesn't happen too often. And then you agree on LOI, a price, you've knocked the price down, and then you're going to send him a contract, and then he's going to turn it over to his lawyer or her lawyer, whatever, and and that's when your lawyers will get involved. And remember, you're telling your lawyers, everybody, this is going to be major shareholder friendly. We're not here to make friends. You heard the Goombas say, we had bought some deals before and we thought we did a good job, and then we came to the seminar and realized we didn't do a good job. Because the things that we've covered here, even experienced guys like that, not everybody knows. And as the Vietnamese medical doctor from Columbia said, Nobody loves you. Maybe your mama loves you. Dan loves you. And you're right. He's right. Nobody loves you. And there's just certain things from the seller's point of view that sellers have taken advantage of buyers for centuries. And they're just naturally, they go into the boilerplate documents. And they're not to fuck you on purpose, but they're there to restrict your rights. And aren't we all about freedom of rights now? Everybody's got a fucking opinion. I liked it before everybody had a fucking opinion. But those days are gone. And it's a good thing I'm towards the end of my runway, so okay, questions about the board meeting and how you do it. And don't go to an expensive restaurant unless you got a rich wife or something like that wants to pay for it. But, just not Chili's like the Kuma brothers said, but, a reasonable restaurant. And no $400 or $500 bottles of wine and that kind of shit. It's also not bring your own. There's a couple of guys in here that would bring their own, bring a bottle into the... Yeah. That's happened to me once in Louisiana. Embarrassed the shit out of me. He got successful, though, rolling up pharmacies. That's another one. Big margins. 75, no, this is a lie. 75 to 95% of all pharmacies in America are run by Indians. Pakistan, with a dot. And the mother works there, the grandmother works there, the sister-in-law works there, and their 9-year-old daughter works there.